I'm Ava Laura.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is Black Leave America podcast, where we highlight holistic wellness, travel, mental health, and self-care through traveling outside of America to reconnect and rediscover who you are. It's time for us to leave any condition that disrupts our peace. Black Women Leave America opens your eyes and explores new ways of living, but more importantly, new ways of being. Because sometimes you have to leave in order to find yourself. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Black Women Leave America, another live reaction video edition. We are so excited to be back. I am your host, Ava Laura, and this is my amazing co-host.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jessica here.
And we're going to continue on with reaction videos that we found from TikTok. Yeah, for us, let me tell you, for us, like, we've talked to so many women and we love this, but we love the reactions because, like, we don't know who's coming on. Like, when we book a guest, you know, we know who they are, we kind of know their story, and so we're really sharing it with you. Where this, like, we don't know what these women are gonna say, we don't know where they are in the world, right? We don't know what's gonna come out of it, and so it's really kind of cool. So we appreciate you being on this journey with us. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you know, put it in the chat. Of course, we do respond, and let's just see what we get.
For Black people who have lived in America and decided it's not for them.
Puerto Rico, and I moved from the United States. And I'm just going to stop you before you say anything. Oh, well, Puerto Rico is a part of the United States. Puerto Rico is the United States. No, shut up. Puerto Rico is a colony. It's under colonial rule. That is different. But Puerto Rico is its own country with its own cultural norms and everything like that. So before you want to comment that, just stop. But anyways, I decided to move here because, and many different other reasons that I can talk about at another time. I romanticize Puerto Rico as a non-Puerto Rican because there is still a lot of things going on with the government and everything. So it has improved my life, but I still want to bring awareness to things going on.
This TikTok is only for Black people who have lived in America and decided it's not.
Yeah, no, I had to go. And now I'm sharing my 2 cents because I've talked to some folks in the comments of that video. I've also been sent the video a couple times, and I got some stuff to get off my chest. Immediately after graduating from university, I started working for a literal Trump supporter, and I could see the cycles that I was beginning to perpetuate. My therapist, on top of that, had shared with me very wise advice that you cannot heal where you have been hurt. And as a Black woman and a queer person, I realized there were too many spaces within the United States where I have physically been hurt. And then understanding that I carry the DNA, the blood, the spirit of all those other people who came before me, I said, babes, I can't break generational curses in this environment. So my first stop is Madrid, Spain. And to be real honest with y'all, I haven't had a better experience. I haven't made the types of relationships that I'm fostering currently. And best of all, I'm seeing an improvement in myself. Like, y'all, I have a daily routine. And as someone who struggles with anxiety and depression and who also is an undiagnosed neurodivergent person, that's huge.
And they're much happier as a Black person outside of America. Where'd you go and what's it like?
So I have friends that live in Mexico, Colombia, and they love it. It's very diverse. I, on the other hand, I've been living in East Africa for 9 months now. And I love it. I just love the simplicity. I love not having to look over my shoulder. I love the community. I love the sense of belonging, the freedom. I love seeing Black people smile every day. That's what it is for me. It's just home, connection. You know what I compare this to all the time whenever I'm out and I'm going somewhere to get me some food? I compare it to when I was a kid. A lot of this stuff reminds me of when I was a kid. It's weirdly nostalgic for me, but it reminds me of the good parts of the hood. You know, the candy lady, everybody knows everybody looks out for each other. That's what it feels like here. I love it.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Okay, I think we're calling this Blaxit, but I have some criticisms or like friendly suggestions if this is something that we are thinking about doing. We have to remember that capitalism and anti-Blackness exist everywhere. And I understand that the way that it manifests in America can be really overwhelming for Black people, myself included. But trying to run from systems that are worldwide does not work in the long term. Like, yeah, maybe you and your children will have a good life living somewhere outside of the US where you have wealth and power. But that does nothing for the people that you're leaving at home or anyone else who does not have access to move. And also, we run the risk, if we are not doing like the mental, like reframing and work, of recreating systems that already don't work for us. So if you are participating in Blaxit, here are some suggestions. Really sit and think about how white supremacist ideologies live in your mind and try to rework that. By living outside of the US, you have a better chance of doing that. So, like, I'm not super worried about that piece. However, I've said this before and I'll say it again, Black capitalism will not save us. Please try not to exploit your neighbor. Secondly, try to make moves to like bring your community with you and build more of a cooperative than exists here in America. I'm really talking about community building, bringing your family, your friends into the new space that you're in, and also helping the community that exists already in the space that you're in. We're not trying to be Christopher Columbus and say we're claiming a new world. I think it's important to remember, lastly, that you're still trying to live outside of the dominant society. So practicing abolition, anti-capitalism, cooperation, growing your own food, all of those beautiful concepts should be following you into that new space that you're going into, not capitalism and white supremacy, okay?
Well, that was awesome. Oh dear. Why they leave on that note? Okay. Well, like I said, it's like Christmas. Like, you don't even know what you're gonna get. You don't know who these women are. We don't know what they're gonna say. We don't know where they are in the world. We don't know their story. So I love that concept, and I know we can absolutely do it with all the women that we've interviewed as well. I'm gonna start with the positives. First of all, the one in East Africa, she looked like she's East African. Like, she looks like she belongs there. That is just the beauty of our Blackness and our DNA. Like, we go to Africa and we look like we belong there because we are African. The one I wish I would have heard more from the one who I think she had said she had been in Japan too, or at least that was in the writing, because she had stuff that was written that she wasn't saying. So it was like you had to listen to her and you had to read the subtitles. I wish she had talked a little bit about Japan. I would have loved to have known more about her experience as a Black person in Japan. I would definitely love to talk to her more about Rwanda, and I think where else did she say she'd go? Definitely think it was Rwanda. It was somewhere else.
Right.
Tanzania. I think it was Tanzania that she also said. Because, well, so Rwanda has really done a really good job of rebranding and really working to heal from their past, not just cover it up, acknowledge it, but then heal from it. And so they've done a lot for tourism and things like that. So I definitely want to learn more about the experience there. So those were positives. The one who worked for a Trump supporter, Lord have mercy. Oh my gosh. Wow.
So much there. That's so much there.
I was like, I don't even know what to do with that one.
Right.
I forgot, where did she say she was? Or did she say where she was? She was in Spain.
Did she? Yes, that's right.
She was in Madrid. She was in Spain. I want to know more about Spain. I think I've only heard from a couple women who've been in Spain. I definitely want to know more about that. Right. The one who's in Puerto Rico, that cracked me up, because we all know that Puerto Rico is in the US. However, I have a client who did move to Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico definitely does operate like a country that is not the US. I will say that. She's not lying about that. My frustration with that is she was speaking in Spanish, and my Spanish is un poco. Okay, like, I don't know what she was saying. So if you're gonna share, like, can you share in a way that us, the majority, can understand what you're saying? But she is telling the truth. Puerto Rico does not function like the rest of America.
Yeah. I can't get past that last one.
That was like Debbie Downer. I was like, God.
And it also is very like, it's very, what is the generation after millennial? It's very whatever.
I call them Zillennials, but Generation Z.
That it's very Generation Z.
Yeah.
I was like, really? So we're going to argue that the fact that people are leaving is an argument of the fact that it's like just a whole.
It's like you're just doing too much. It's too deep.
You're doing too much.
It's too deep. You can't save the world. You can't solve all the world's problems. You cannot solve Black capitalism, blah, 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 blah. That is not your job. if you are traumatized and got PTSD, you need to get out for your own well-being. Self-care, take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
Then maybe you can start to look at some of these other dynamics. But if you try to take all of that on, you're going to be immobilized and do nothing.
Nothing, because it's so much. But she did give us a new word, Blaxit. So I was like, okay, well, at least I got that one from this Blaxit. And yes, and that's what we exactly are going to do. And I love the fact that they at least give a word to everything, right? It's not an exit, it's a Blaxit. Blaxit?
No,
Blaxit,
that's pretty
I should
funny.
say.
Yeah.
So I everything else she said, I was just like you said,
Girl, yeah.
whoever put that video together was like, you know, you had all these folks that were saying, but I think it's also good to have another viewpoint too, right?
Viewpoints are
Someone else.
good. What I would have appreciated more from her, instead of her philosophizing and telling us what we should or should not be doing, is talk about how that is a part of her story. So where is she? Has she
Okay.
left? Is this something that she has learned through
Yeah.
her own personal experiences?
Mhm.
Like, so I think that would have come off a little better, as opposed to like preaching and telling us what we should or should not be doing.
Right. Versus, yeah. Yeah. There was, you know, it's so funny. It was a lot said, but nothing said at the same time. So I think that's where I was finding a lot of difficulty.
If you're an energy person, right? If you are an energy person, if you are an empath,
right.
but it came off as very heavy
Yeah.
and very preachy and very like, I'm just trying to do what's best for me, and it's judgy coming at me saying don't do dot 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 when I'm just trying to take care of me.
Right. But I mean, so here's the part where I kind of like, okay. But then she took it off and somewhere else, and I was like, okay, no. You know, that whole, if you leave, and it is, and maybe this is the connection she's trying to make. I don't know. If you leave, that is just one individual leaving, and it doesn't affect the family community at whole. So if you leave and you've changed your mindset, you've had this new experience, so on and so forth, but then you come back to the same old thing, it doesn't help the folks that you've left in that same old thing to change, to become a better person, whatever. But then you get to a point to where also, if we look at this, is that your responsibility to then go back and be like, hey, everybody, you can expose them to it. You can bring an awareness factor to it. But so you're supposed to stop yourself from leaving and having a more a wellness, right? Seeking wellness, seeking that to say, hey, everybody come with me, and then force them to come with you. So I don't know. Anyway, that's where I was like,
Yeah, that's why it was heavy. It was really heavy, and it wasn't tangible, right? It
no,
wasn't really
not at all.
solution oriented. That's why it came off as very kind of preachy.
Yeah.
And it just left you sitting there with, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Well, even how do I even react to that? Like, what do I even say? Because it's so many.
I'm not even leaving yet, but it made me feel bad for trying to leave. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that part.
So,
Like, that whole guilt. And then she said Christopher Columbus. The other. Are you kidding me?
that was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. So here, this is what I say, right? I absolutely do believe in the power of individual healing, which is why I do what I do. Right. As a healer, the majority of my work outside of speaking and training and all of that is working one-on-one. I've done groups, I do trainings, I do all this other things, but my heart, what I love is the individual one-on-one healing, working with one specific person over a period of time to help them to reach a specific goal or transformation.
Right.
And there's so much power in that. You know, it's like, you know, what Gandhi said, right? It's like when you be the change that you want to see in the world. Start with you.
Start with yourself.
You start with you and you shine your light. You then can help light other people.
Which brings me to a famous song that I absolutely love. And, you know, I was thinking about the other day, I play his music when I'm cleaning. And it's The Man in the Mirror. Looking at the man in the mirror. There you go. I'm asking him to change his ways. All right. So it's like you said, it starts with you first, and then it kind of trickles out to everyone else, right? And then what is his tagline, right? If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change.
That's it. And so you do that, and nothing else is awareness, right? You leave your hood, your neighborhood, whatever, and somebody's like, "Oh wow, yeah, I know somebody level, and they have an amazing life." And now other people are thinking bigger.
Right.
And they're thinking outside of the scope of where they are and what they do, because you have shown another way just by your example.
Exactly.
So there's always going to be consequences to actions, right? There's always going to be cons. There's always going to be things that, we had the best intention of, maybe it didn't work out. But I think that when you go in with good intention, and you are working on yourself, you're healing yourself, you do help to heal your family, you do help to heal your neighborhood, you do help to heal your community. I really believe that. And so I would never say don't go because you're worried about the people that you're going to leave behind. If they want to come, they will come.
Right.
If they say, and if they express an interest in coming, then you try to help them to come. But do not stay because you're worried about leaving them behind and they have no interest in changing. Don't do it. Because too many of us sacrifice ourselves to please other people that ain't got nothing to do with us.
Right. And you will never, ever, ever, any Black woman will never, ever, ever be Krista Columbus, ever.
I mean, unless you're an extreme narcissist, then of course it is possible. Most of us who are leaving, we're not narcissists. I know that word is truly overused. Most of us who are leaving, we actually care, which is one of the reasons we're leaving.
We're leaving and that's what I'm saying.
So wherever we go, we're going to help to try to make that place better. We are not going to take. We want to give back. That's why we're leaving, because we're in a place that takes and doesn't give back, and we want that reciprocity. So don't be worried about things that don't apply to you.
Yeah. So I'll be trying not to get in trouble on these YouTube streets. So jeez Louise. Well, that has been another episode of Women Leave America. We would love to hear your thoughts on that piece. Yeah, any part of what we just, watched and reacted to, would love to hear your reaction. So make sure you leave a comment down below. Just kind of tell us what your thoughts are about this episode. Also, make sure you take a screenshot of this and tag us on social media. We are at Black Women Leave America on all social media platforms, except for Twitter. We are not on Twitter. But other than that, all the other platforms, we're there. So definitely tag us, take a screenshot of this, or do a reaction video yourself to our video. And tag us and let us know what your thoughts are about this episode of Black Women Leave America. I'm going to pass the mic back over to Ava Laura to take us out.
And we're still looking for ambassadors. Shout out to ambassadors. So if you are interested in being an ambassador, definitely hit us up, blackwomenleaveamerica@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Sponsors, we are open to all sponsorships. Hit us up, blackwomenleaveamerica@gmail.com. And we will see you next week with another amazing episode.